Hey guys, this is Will at Third and Long. Today we are going to be looking down the NFL Week 5 Sunday best bets. Now, this is going to be mainly focusing on the bets for the Sunday games for the Week 5 NFL season, the money line, spread, and the over-under. If you want a more in-depth breakdown of each game this Sunday, go to my Week 5 predictions where we will look at who wins, who loses, and why that will be the outcome. But right now, mainly we will be focusing on the actual betting portion, and we will be using the ESPN website graphics and the stats here for every single game. This past Thursday, we had the Chicago Bears versus the Washington Commanders. So the Bears did pull it out. Justin Fields looked great. So congrats to the Bears fans there, and congrats to Fields, especially since the Bears were not favored by Vegas, and that was a pretty good game there. Now, the very first game that we will be looking at is at 9:30. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Buffalo Bills. This game will be taking place in London, England. Back-to-back England games for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so they should definitely be pretty rested here because they've spent the last probably 10 days in England. Now, Buffalo is just coming off of beating the crap out of the Miami Dolphins. They are really hot right now. They have scored over 30 points 3 straight weekends, so they are looking to make that 4 here. So just looking at the stat line that we have coming in from Vegas, we have the Buffalo Bills favored by 5.5, and we have the total coming in at 48.5 points. Now, what do I think is going to happen? So I actually have the Buffalo Bills winning 31-23. So I have them covering the spread, I have the Buffalo Bills winning, and I have them going over. Now, could the game be closer? Could the Jacksonville Jaguars win? Yes. It's just Jacksonville's offense hasn't looked too hot this week. Now, could they be rested by having been there for 10 days? Yes, but I think Buffalo is really hot right now, and Jacksonville's not a good enough team to stop that. So they will make it 4 weeks scoring over 30 points. The next game that we will be looking at is at 1 p.m. on Fox. We have the 2-2 Texans playing the 2-2 Falcons. Now, just some kind of breakdown of what's happening in this game. So Falcons are coming in as 2-point favorites. The total here is 41.5 points. CJ Stroud and Nico Collins, they looked really good. CJ Stroud's probably the offensive rookie of the year so far this year. He looks completely composed. He has 1,200 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, no picks. So he looks really good. Texans fans should be really pumped up right now because they have a pretty bright future so far this season. Now, what about the Falcons? Falcons kind of look a little messy. So Ritter is garbage. He's not having a good year, but they are loaded with first-round talent. Pitts, Bijan Robinson. There's a lot of playmakers there. They just don't have a quarterback that can get them the ball. So even though this game's kind of a close one, I'm actually going with the upset here. So I am picking the Falcons to lose. So obviously they're not going to be able to cover that spread when they lose. I have the Texans winning this game 24-17. So they won't cover it. And I'm actually going, so even though Vegas has the total at 41.5, I think it's that hook that's going to break it, and I have that total score being 41 points. The next game that we will be looking at is at 1 p.m. on Fox. We have the Carolina Panthers at 0-4 versus the Detroit Lions at 3-1. Detroit's really hot right now. They finished last year really hot, and they are starting this year really hot. Now, the Lions do have the best rush defense in the NFL, giving up 60.5 yards per game. The total here from Vegas, we have 45 points, and we have the Lions coming in as 10-point favorites. So that's a pretty big margin there. They basically have Detroit beating the Panthers pretty convincingly. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Goff is having a very great year, so Detroit has a great running game. They have a great quarterback. Bryce Young should be playing for the Panthers, but they are in Detroit. I think that's going to make the difference. So I am picking the Lions to win this, and I am picking them to win 31-17. So I have them covering the spread, and I also have them going over. So I have 48 total points in this game. The next game we have at 1 p.m. on CBS, we have the Tennessee Titans at 2-2 versus the Colts at 2-2. The biggest news here is Jonathan Taylor should be playing. So Anthony Richardson should be pretty happy about that. One thing that every quarterback needs is a great running game. So welcome back, Jonathan Taylor. So looking at the Vegas numbers here, we have the total at 43 points. Tennessee is a 2-point favorite as of right now. Yesterday, this was 1.5, so this just went up to 2. So what do I have happening? This is going to be a really tough game because both teams are kind of similar. I don't have much faith in the Titans due to Ryan Tannehill, but Derrick Henry is great. They just use him to do everything, basically. So he has to carry the whole team. But I think ultimately, it's going to be Tennessee's Vrabel defense that is going to make the difference versus the young Colts team. Jonathan Taylor might not be fully back to form because he hasn't played a real game in a little while, but he could surprise us and he could get the Colts to win. That is very possible, but I do think Tennessee is going to be the one who wins. I think Tennessee is going to win 22-20, so I have them coming in under. The total will be 42 points, but I do have them covering that spread. Next game we have at 1 p.m. on Fox, we have the New York Giants at 1-3 versus the Miami Dolphins at 3-1. The other day when I was looking at this spread, it was a lot lower, so I have it as at 11 points as of right now. It keeps fluctuating because it keeps growing, actually, because Miami keeps becoming more of a favorite, and that's really not surprising when you look at how bad the Giants have been playing these last few weeks. So Daniel Jones looks like a complete garbage can. They should have never given him that contract. I don't know why they did. Saquon Barkley's hurt, so all the pressure is on Daniel Jones. Will he be able to step up and go blow for blow with the highest scoring team in the NFL? I don't think so. But just looking at the NFL spread here, we have the total coming in at 48.5 points. The Dolphins are 11-point favorites. That's a pretty wide spread, again, for an NFL game. So Vegas thinks that the Dolphins are going to blow the Giants out, and I do agree with them. So the Dolphins just have too many weapons. They have Mossad, they have Arcane, Berrios, Waddle, Hill, Tua. They just traded for Claypool. I mean, this team is loaded. They are stacked. They have the best wide receiver room in the country. I think the Dolphins are going to win 35-17. So they're going to win. They're definitely going to cover. And we have the total of 48.5 points. So I have this game coming in at 52. So I have them going over. The next game we have at 1 p.m. on CBS, we have the New Orleans Saints at 2-2 versus the Patriots at 1-3. At the time of making this video, we have the Patriots coming in as 1-point favorites, the total at 40 points. So that pretty much sounds right to me because this is going to be a very sloppy, very sluggish game. Both offenses are not playing well, but both teams have very good defenses. But Derek Carr is just basically a check down, a machine. They're not getting the ball to the weapons that they have. Carr looks completely off this year. So I don't know what happened to him since he left the Raiders, but things just aren't clicking as of right now. But the talent is there for them to have a blowout game. Patriots have one of the best defensive minds in football. Never underestimate that defense. And these low-scoring teams always favor Bill Belichick's team. That's just the way that things work. So the way that I have it coming in, so the total is at 40. Patriots are 1-point favorites. I have the final score being 20-17. Patriots win. So I have the Pats winning. I have them covering. And I have it as under. Next game that we'll be looking at 1 p.m., we have the 3-1 Baltimore Ravens at the 2-2 Steelers. So Pickett's kind of hurt. Trubisky might play, but Pickett could also play. We don't really know who the quarterback will be on Sunday. I don't really think it even necessarily matters. Steelers do have a good defense, but they've been on the field a lot this year. Main question is, will TJ Watt and that defense be able to bottle up Lamar Jackson? Looking at what Vegas has, they have the total at 38. And they have the Ravens as 4-point favorites. So I think the Ravens are going to win because I think that the Ravens have too many offensive pieces. And when I say that, I mean Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. I think that's going to be the big difference is hitting the tight end versus this team with really good linebacking play. So I have the final score being 23-20, Ravens winning. So they're going to go over, but they will fail to cover the spread. Next game we have at 4:05 on Fox. We have the undefeated 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles versus the 2-2 LA Rams. So with the Rams, you just never know what you're going to get. Sometimes Stafford and this team shows up, and then sometimes he's throwing picks and they're giving up 50 points per game. That's just kind of the way that things are. But Vegas has this as a total of 50.5, and they have the Eagles at 4.5-point favorites. So the Eagles aren't playing up to standards. They were the runner-up to the Super Bowl last year, had a really great season last year. They haven't fully gotten the offense clicking so far this year, and that defense has been pretty questionable. So when that happens, and you're playing the Rams, who are getting Cooper Kupp back this Sunday, it could be a shootout potentially. But I think ultimately it is going to be Hurts, Swift, and A.J. Brown. That's what's going to make the difference here. I do have the Eagles winning 30-20. So again, that hook is what is going to make the difference because Vegas has it as 50.5, but I have the total being 50, and I have the Eagles winning by 10. So they're definitely going to cover that spread also. The next game that we'll be looking at is at 4:05 on Fox. We have the Cincinnati Bengals at 1-3 versus the Arizona Cardinals at 1-3. So Cincinnati's coming in here as 3-point favorites. Vegas has that total at 44.5. So this is one of the games you don't know what you're going to get because what is up with the Bengals? They're averaging 12.3 points per game. Joe Burrow, like I said in my predictions video, he's a complete ghost. So which Joe Burrow is showing up? Is it going to be Joe Burrow that we've seen so far in college and the NFL, or is it going to be whatever has been playing this year? He's banged up, he's hurt, shouldn't even be starting, but if the real Joe Burrow shows up, they get 350 yards passing and they blow the Cardinals out. If Joe Burrow of 2023 shows up, they could actually lose to the Arizona Cardinals, which is a complete joke. But, so what am I looking at here? So the Cardinals aren't bad. They have Dobbs, they have Michael Wilson, they have playmakers. So if Burrow can't get the ball to Chase and his weapons, I actually have the upset happening here. I have the Cardinals winning 23-20. I'm only banking on Joe Burrow not coming prepared to play and still being banged up. If we see real Joe Burrow, this goes out the window. But till he shows up, I cannot believe it. So I have the Cardinals winning 23-20. So obviously, the spread is not going to be covered here because I'm going with the upset. But I do also have the game as under because I have the total score being 43 points. Next game we have at 4:25 on CBS. We have the New York Jets at 1-3 versus the Denver Broncos at 1-3. So this is one of those games that we were robbed because this should have been Rodgers versus Russell Wilson, but instead it's Zach Wilson versus Russell Wilson. So the battle of the Wilsons, who will suck the least? Basically, Russell Wilson is actually not having a bad year statistically this year, but the Denver Broncos are a complete disaster. Sean Payton has led this team into a complete joke, and they have absolutely no defense. The worst defense in the NFL. Jets have a very good defense, but a mediocre quarterback, although he had a great game last week. But nonetheless, what have you done more than one game? So until Zach Wilson makes that a permanent thing every Sunday, we just need to kind of slow down the roll there and let him prove it. So don't put too much pressure on him when he hasn't earned the right to have that pressure just yet. But Vegas has this total at 43 points. They have the Denver Broncos as of me making this video as 1.5-point favorites. So what do I think is going to happen in this game? Even though Denver's defense is Swiss cheese, they still have Russell Wilson. So I think they have the coach who's been coaching for longer. They have a experienced quarterback playing a inexperienced quarterback. And I have Denver winning. I have that final score coming in at 24-21. So I'm going over, and Denver will also cover the spread. Next game we have at 4:25 on CBS. We have the 3-1 Kansas City Chiefs at the 1-3 Minnesota Vikings. So as of right now, Kansas is 4-point favorites. Vegas has the total at 52.5 points. So this is another one of those games we just really don't know what's going to happen here because don't let the Vikings 1-3 record fool you. Their defense might be god-awful, but their offense is moving the ball definitely. So they will be able to move the ball. Kirk Cousins will put up yards. No one can cover Jefferson. However, the Chiefs do have a top 5 defense. They do still have Patrick Mahomes. So even though their offense is not playing up to standards, they still have some great playmakers there. Now, the real question is, what is the over-under on the NFL stopping viewing the game to cut to Taylor Swift if she shows up? But hopefully that doesn't happen because why does anyone care that she's there? Let's just watch the football game. Anyways, I have the Chiefs winning this game 28-24. So I think they will cover that 4-point spread. I think the Chiefs will win. But again, that hook, putting it at 52.5, I have the total coming in at 52 points. Next game we have at 8:20 on NBC, the 3-1 Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers, who are undefeated at 4-0. This seems like a playoff game, and it's only week 5. So this is so far the best game of the season, hands down. Vegas has the total coming in at 45. They do have San Francisco, as of the time of me making this, at 3.5-point favorite. So a really close game, and there's the 49ers are hands down the best team so far in this young season. Cowboys do have the weapons there. Prescott hasn't looked good so far this year, but he hasn't had to yet. So we will see how he shows up versus this really good defense. Nonetheless, this is 2 really good defenses, so when that happens, anything can happen, but the 49ers are a well-oiled machine as of right now. I don't think Dallas will be able to stop them. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but for my final prediction, I have the 49ers winning this game 27-21. So I have them going over, I have them winning, and I also have them covering that 3.5-point spread. Next game, we have our final game on Monday night at 8:15 p.m. We have the Green Bay Packers at 2-2 versus the Vegas Raiders at 1-3. So Vegas has the total at 44.5 points. They do have Green Bay, as of this point, favored by 1 point. So Devontae Adams gets to play his old team. Jimmy G was cleared to play, so he will be playing. Raiders need to get the ball to Josh Jacobs. He has started out the year really slow. They must get him going to take pressure off of Jimmy G. Now, for the Packers, they have Aaron Jones coming back to play, Jordan Love. Will they be able to stop him from being able to scramble and get first downs? So how do I have the game going? I have the Packers defense here making the difference by getting pressure on Jimmy G and shutting down the run game. I have the Packers winning 20-17. So they're going to win, but I'm going with the under, but they definitely will cover the spread. So like I said, guys, that's my breakdown of the Week 5 Sunday best bets. If you want a more in-depth breakdown, click on my NFL prediction video, hit that like button, and subscribe. Thanks.